Professor Rennick spoke to about 50 of the town's businessmen on the future of Maitland as a regional commercial centre. He told the group that Maitland's relationship to Newcastle is comparable to the relationship between Sydney and Parramatta, and that, he said, must be considered where commercial development in Maitland is concerned. He stressed that businesses in the town should not try and attract custom from other centres, but should concentrate on serving Maitland's 43,000 strong population. The professor said there is scope for commercial expansion in Maitland as long as the residential development in the east of the town continues and while there is industrial growth in the lower Hunter. He added, however, that the traffic congestion and lack of parking space in High Street are retarding that potential for commercial development.
Well, in the High Street it's very restricted because of the traffic flow, because it's got the river on one side and it's just got the one main street. It's carrying a major highway. The types of traffic flowing along there is increasing, and as a result of all those things, people just can't get to the central business district, and there isn't adequate parking to help them.
Do you think the town has reached its potential as a commercial centre?
Maybe in the central business district, unless parking is introduced and something is done about those traffic flows outside.
The latest Free Wills Theatre and Education Company production, How's That?, is a play about making plays. It was devised in answer to questions from both teachers and pupils about how plays are created. How's That has the usual Free Wills stamp. It has energetic acting, offbeat humour and colourful situations, but it has a double bonus too: marvellous masks by James Bennett and some mime work devised with the help of Nova Castro and Russell Cheek, who has studied in Paris. But while How's That explores a range of theatrical techniques, it's not just a lesson. It's exciting entertainment too, as those theatrical techniques are woven into a rather unusual version of the fable of the hare and the tortoise. Once again, I was quite delighted with the inventiveness of the Free Wills group. What other theatre group in Newcastle would have come up with the character of Frank the Tortoise? He is a rather dim-witted character, but also has a touch of that native cunning that makes him quite adorable. Big kids at this show enjoyed it immensely, and so did small kids too, so I'd say Free Wills has come up with another hit. If How's That can make children more interested in the theatre and in how theatre is created, then it will have done a good job. And as I said, it's heaps of fun.
This afternoon and demanded money from the shopkeeper. Police say he took some money from the till. Then there was a struggle and the woman was cut across the fingers. She was later treated by ambulancemen. A man standing outside the shop at the time of the robbery gave police a description.
I heard a lady cry out, "Stop that man," and I looked and saw a woman half lying in a doorway of a shop to my right, and I saw this man run past me.
The man was last seen heading down Hunter Street West at about 2:45 p.m. He was wearing a brown cardigan and is described as being about 165 centimetres tall, with dark hair, thin build and carrying a pair of sunglasses. What is there shooting any suspects?
The Development Board today released a booklet called Newcastle Down and Out, Don't You Believe It? It details an investigation the board has been carrying out for the last 2 years. Titled the Regional Economic and Industrial Potential Study, it attempts to assess the potential of 4 major development areas in the Hunter: manufacturing, office employment, transport and tourism. Development Board Chairman Alex Young says the area needs this diversification of industries to remain successful.
There are a variety of things we ought to be looking at, and as our announcement today indicated, we're looking at manufacturing industry, we're looking at transport and storage, we're looking at office accommodation, and we're looking at tourism. And I have to make the point that this is not something that's come about only recently. We've been planning for this for at least 18 months to 2 years.
And you have good reason to believe there's an optimistic future for Newcastle and the Hunter region?
Every reason, on the basis of the resources of this region, and I mean by resources the physical resources, our people. There's no question about it that the quality of life here, the resources, the way of life, the facilities we have here must make it certainly positive that the Hunter region is going to have a bright future.
Geelong.
Yes, I better shut up. It's election.
Actually, the other big question I'd really like to know, what are the chances of Newcastle getting together a foot?
Aboriginals in Northern Territory.
Having a lot of meetings.
I know, what a beautiful spot.
If you didn't mind, Jenny.
In which there is the CES as a part of it, but we're not from that particular part.
I asked him if he would do that.
Yeah, the name's
Frog your memory.
It has been known to happen like that.
My sister got engaged a little while ago. Not overly ambitious.
Like the Yarra River in the same context as the Catherine George Dell.
In any case, it's been going for some time.
That's so sad.
Of hard riding, slippery riding in front of them. Roger Hayes first away on the Suzuki, behind him Neville Shivers, also Suzuki. Clean start, there's 32 bikes, plumes of spray behind them getting away, and riders gingerly feeling out the track. Bike number 7 in the lead, Roger Hayes, doing the first stint as he did last year with the Dennis Neal pairing on the 1100 Honda. In second place behind them, the David Hiscock here with the new regulations on sticking to standard tyre sizes as Hayes slips back to second place.
Probably the biggest motorcycle race of the year, full stop.
Production bikes, they are genuinely off the showroom floor, aren't they?
Yes, it's not a thing that we can do to the bikes legally, that is. All we can do is change tyres, but they've got to be road-going tyres as well.
You're riding for Suzuki, and a different machine to last year when you did win the event.
Yes, this year we're riding the new 1100cc Suzuki Katana.
Quick?
It's very quick.
What sort of speeds are we looking at Amaroo Park, even though it's a tight circuit?
At Amaroo, probably the maximum speeds would be between 200 and 220k, because it's a very tight track.
Bowling Club and the Newcastle Bowling Association gathered at the airport to welcome Robbie home. Sporting his official uniform and the treasured gold medal, he was looking relaxed after 10 days of fierce competition.
Proud of you.
But as he
Must have been
explained,
tremendous
the
strain
pressure
up
of
there in
those last few ends was enormous.
Michael, I can't ever remember playing bowls under so much pressure in all my life.
Were you happy with your own form for the full Commonwealth Games?
Oh yes, I don't think you can go out and play perfect bowls every day for every end. You know, you're bound to play your bad bowls, and more so on the greens the way they were. On the last day especially, we played on a green running 20 seconds with a gusty wind, and you know, I'll defy anybody to play good bowls continually under those conditions. And yes, I was happy enough with my form.
At one stage there, you did move from lead back to second. Was that your own fruition? Did you talk to Keith about this, or did Keith make the decision on that?
We talked about this before the Commonwealth Games started. We had a fortnight's practice before the Commonwealth Games, and we spoke about this, and it was decided not to do it until it would at least try it in the Commonwealth Games situation. And we'd played 3 games, and Keith asked me my opinion, and I said, well, I think, you know, the team will play better if we change around. And he said, well, I think it will also. So we put it that way, and we changed it around, and the team did play better.
And in true champion style, Robbie was driven home as all champions should be, in a Rolls Royce.
Send the kid for that.
Yeah, good one.
It must have been wonderful to be picked for Australia, but even more wonderful to play for Australia.
Yes, Bart, it was terrific to play for Australia, and an experience that I'll never forget. Just absolutely marvellous.
But what were your general impressions of the game?
Of the games? Oh, well, completely different sort of game to what we play down here, Bart. The greens are so different, the tiff dwarf, and they're so very fast. It was a matter of drive or draw the whole time through the games.
What about the competitors, people from overseas who are not used to greens as fast as that? They seem to handle them well.
Yes, but they adapted very well, and we had some very, very good games, very tight games, and very enjoyable. It was very nice meeting all the other people from the other countries.
They called it the friendly games, and I noticed on one occasion when you were playing there you were sharing around with your opponent steamrollers or something like that.
Maybe I was hoping they'd choke on them.
Bad as that, was it? Eve, you're wearing out uniform, walking out uniform?
Walking out uniform, Bart, yes.
That was supplied, of course, to everybody, all the Australian competitors.
Yes, Fletcher Jones supplied these players.
Why the blue? Any idea?
Well, the blue is the Australian colour, the Commonwealth colour rather, and contrary to the green and gold, which I understand is the Olympic colour.
Oh, is that the difference?
Yes.
Well, what about the general organisation?
That was fantastic, Bart. Not a thing went out, nothing went wrong, and they tell me that there were 5,000 voluntary workers, and I didn't hear one cross word from any one of them. It was just fantastic.
That's great. Everything worked to time and as it should?
Yes, everything. We were picked up in the morning in buses and taken to the greens, and they'd have us out on the green for our roll up at 20 to 9, and then we'd go onto the green at a minute to 9. They'd ring a buzzer when we were ready to go on the green.
Well, how far away were you from the green?
About 5 kilometres.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And what was the accommodation there like? There were some earlier complaints about accommodation.
No, we had no complaints. Rosemary and I had an ensuite in our room, and we were very comfortable.
And what about meals?
Meals were good. Plenty of food and good quality food.
That was where you were staying?
Yes, we were at the CAE at Mount Cravat.
And what about the meals at the actual bowling club itself?
Well, we used to have a picnic lunch sent across, and then if we were playing at night, they gave us a hot meal at the club. Maruka supplied the hot meal at night.
Playing at night, what time were you starting then?
What, in the morning?
No, at night?
Oh, at night time, well, we would start at 6:30. and play through. We'd get off the green about 9:30, 10:15.
Oh, would you?
Yes.
Is it right that it was through your efforts that the Queen made the circle around the oval at the finish?
Well, I like to think it was. We asked her not to.
You were walking right beside the car.
That's right. I had my hand on the car all the way round.
And you suggested to the Duke that he should continue right around.
That's right, and he consulted with the Queen, and she gave the go-ahead, and we went round. We went round a lap and a half, and I wasn't even puffed at the end of it.
Great. Eve, it's been a fantastic fortnight for you. Where do you go next? What's your next one?
Well, Faye Craig and I are going up to Muswellbrook on Friday morning to play against the men in the invitation singles at Muswellbrook.
And you've got something the following weekend too.
What's the following weekend?
23rd. Did you have something on that weekend? You were going somewhere else?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's a change anyway for you.
Unless I've forgotten to put it down.
Anyway, congratulations again on your performance. You were very unlucky. 3 of you on equal points and you missed on the countback.
Yes, there were 3. England, New Zealand and Australia were on 22 points, and when they went to a countback we were the unlucky ones who missed out.
If you'd beaten Zimbabwe when you were holding 5 on one occasion, 6 on another occasion, it
would have been another story.
It would have been in the middle, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Thanks a lot again, and continued success in your career.
Thank you, Bart.
The review committee claims there are marked divisions within the board in the professional and technical as well as the administrative and clerical sections. It has recommended a restructuring of the top administrative positions with a defined allocation of duties. The board has adopted the review on principle, subject to conditions which include consultation with unions. No one from the Hunter District Water Board or the unions were prepared to do an on-camera interview with me today. In fact, the unions are preparing their own report on this review. But the Secretary of the Board, Mr. Fred Jarvis, says he doesn't believe the allegations that have been made in the report. He says the Board's operations are on a par with any commercial enterprise in Australia. He also says that he agrees with the comment that was made in the report about the proposed reorganisation. It says reorganisation is a wonderful method for creating the illusion of progress while producing confusion, inefficiency and demoralisation.
Both visiting academics are specialists in the field of adaptive controls, the advanced use of computers to improve efficiency. At Newcastle University they'll work on specific studies. Carlos de Souza examining cold steel rolling techniques and Luc Ducard investigating the assessment of aircraft performance, a study commissioned by the Australian Aeronautical Research Laboratory with possible application to the F-18 fighter. Both heard of the work being done by the department and its head Graham Goodwin through international conferences in America, and both say that in this particular field Newcastle University is a world leader.
The development made here, in my idea, is in the leader position in the world.
Luke, you must have also looked at other centres in the world doing similar work. Why did you decide to come to Newcastle?
Among the different centres in the world, as in Sweden, United States, in France and other places, I chose Newcastle because I think that it was the best place for me to learn and to exchange ideas with Graham, and I think I made the good choice.
If the interest being shown in the convention organised by the Newcastle Industrial Safety Association is any indication, then perhaps Mr Rees's assessment of the priority being given industrial safety is wrong. More than 700 have registered for the three-day convention and guests have filled the exhibition hall and the conference room. However, Mr Rees says often companies pay only lip service to safety issues and fail to recognise the real cost savings that good safety practices can bring.
The cost benefits are there. That's the important thing to say, that you know the money companies spend on safety is next to nothing compared to what they can get back.
But can some companies perhaps justify the point that they can't afford safety?
No, I won't accept it. If a company says to me we can't afford safety, I'd like to really sit down with them and go through it, because it just doesn't stack up in every case I've come across so far.
The number one seeds, Annette Gully and Marie Booth, were pressed all the way by Janine Thompson and Jenny Byrne, the exciting young combination from the Custom Credit Operation Tennis. Thompson and Byrne took the first set 6-4, but then Gully and Booth, showing more experience, won the following two 6-1, 6-1. In another very good doubles match today, Rebecca Bryant and Kim Staunton from the Institute of Sport defeated Linda Krall and Helen Luscombe 7-5, 3-6, 6-2. Other results, Miranda Yates and Joanne O'Donoghue defeated Davis and Butler 6-4, 6-2, and Wendy Kilchrist and Brenda Catton defeated Linda Gay Bailey and Vicky Marler 6-1, 6-3.